this press conference here. If you can maybe take your seats, and then we can crack some photographs out just after that. So my name is Nuttall. I'm the COP21 spokesperson. I'm the head of communications for the UN Climate Treaty. We're here because we want to basically talk about two things. One is that tonight at 6, or is it 6:30, Sarah? 6:30, we're having our Momentum for Change Awards. And these awards are basically honoring people from all over the world who are doing amazing things on climate change. And they fall into several categories: women, people who are financing the transition, the urban poor, and ICT, because telecommunications has a lot to say in terms of how we can live our lives differently. Great to see you, Erich. But what we're really proud about it is that we have an amazing guy who's actually going to be performing tonight at the Momentum for Change Awards. His name is Sean Paul, if you didn't know already. I'm sure everybody does. And he also was involved in a very interesting song with some other big names like Paul McCartney and Bon Jovi.
Fergie and Bon Jovi and,
and
Natasha Bedingfield. Yeah.
There we go. So I'm going to actually now turn this over to Sean Paul, so can maybe basically talk to us a little bit about that song,
sure,
how you got involved,
yeah,
and actually why you're here in Paris.
Sure. What's up, everyone? How are you doing? You know, I was asked to be in this song called Love Song to the Earth by Toby Gad. He's a producer. And, you know, basically, it's a topic that's close to my heart. And so it was pretty easily written after I heard the words that he had written already. I just have 8 bars in the song. And I, you know, lent my time, such as did Sir Paul McCartney and Natasha Bedingfield. She did a lot of writing. I just think it's a great cause, you know. I've seen effects of pollution in my country, and so just to be able to give a voice towards a better way or a more bright solution for, you know, the world to be able to be more efficient, is cool. So that's why I'm here. I just think it's a very important issue. I've seen a few things just a minute ago that's kind of cool, you know, how to clean water and that kind of stuff. And I think that, you know, the cleaner we are, the more efficient we can be. And starting it wherever you can is just a great thing to do. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Thank you.
That's why I'm here, man.
Well, you know, I mean, so like science moves some people, and economics moves some people, and religion and the moral issue moves some people, but some people are moved by art and by music, and we need all possibilities to move everybody in the world towards that low-carbon future, that safer future that we need for billions of people. So we've got Sean Paul here. He's the star. It's great to have him. We've also got Jerry Cope here, who's a music producer and filmmaker. Jerry, just briefly, how did you get involved in this project?
Well, the project actually started when Toby Gad and I met at, it was actually a UN function in Los Angeles at Lynn and Norman Lear's house. And we were talking, this is going back almost 2 years now, and we were talking about how important COP21 was going to be for the world and the planet, and we both agreed that there needed to be some kind of anthem to try to lift spirits and raise voices going into COP21 and to carry through not only now at the end of the COP, but going forward, because the work is not going to be completed after this week, but it's going to be a strong step forward. Mm-hmm. So shortly after that, it was only maybe 6 or 8 weeks, Toby, Natasha Bedingfield, and John Shanks got together, and we had a demo done, and then it was a matter of talking to friends and other artists like Sean Paul, who made such a huge contribution. And over the course of, 12, 16 months, we wound up with Paul McCartney and John Bon Jovi and Sheryl Crow and Nicole Scherzinger and Victoria Justice, and it's 16 altogether, so it's quite phenomenal. And then we released it in September, and it's been very well received all around the world, which makes us happy. And we did a small lyric video just to support the song and so people would be able to see the words and sing along with it, which worked very well. And Louie Schwartzberg, my dear friend, who's a brilliant cinematographer, contributed to both the videos, that one and the one we're premiering tonight. And then Erich, Pica, and Friends of the Earth and the United Nations Foundations have been partners all along. So we're here in COP, and Sean Paul's going to perform live. We're going to do the world premiere at the Momentum event here of the performance video, which features Paul McCartney, Sean Paul, some of the other artists, and some breathtaking cinematography from Louie Schwartzberg showing the beauty and majesty of nature and what we are blessed with on this planet, and that it's our responsibility to take care of it, not only for ourselves, but for every other living organism. It's something that morally, economically, socially, on every level, this is something that we have to do. And I'm thankful for the COP process in the United Nations, because this is the institution we have that brings the world together and can actually affect the change that we need. I don't think it's going to happen in one day or in one COP, but I think the whole world's coming together, and this was needed, and it was needed now.
Good. All right, Louie, give us a little bit from you about how you got involved. Yeah.
Well, it's great to be here. Actually, I think I invited Jerry to that meeting at Lynn's house for the UN. And
somebody say who Lynn Lear is. We've heard Lynn Lear mentioned now several times.
Lynn Lear is married to Norman Lear. She's a giant climate change advocate. And Lynn Lear and I did the UN film that showed last November inside the General Assembly, right before President Obama spoke and Leo DiCaprio spoke. We got Morgan Freeman to do the voiceover because we needed the voice of God to get to these leaders. And Hans Zimmer did the music and my imagery. So as a filmmaker, I shoot beautiful shots of nature because I think that it's a way to open people's hearts. I believe that if we love something, we'll protect it. We're kind of hardwired to do that. And actually 2 nights ago, we projected beautiful imagery on the Basilica in Rome, which was an amazing event to see nature on the Vatican. That hadn't been done, I think, since 300 years when Michelangelo laid on his back to paint the Sistine Chapel. So art is a powerful force. It creates wonder and awe. It opens up people's hearts. I guess it'll make people change their behavior, and that's what we need is a shift in consciousness. We have all the technology. We have the tools. Why aren't we doing it?
Okay, Erich Pica, Friends of the Earth U.S. President. I think this song is also in support of your work and the work of the UN Foundation. Give us your perspective.
Yeah, this is, Jerry approached us about a year ago, it seems like, and he wanted a partner. And not only wanted a partner, but he wanted somebody who could contribute both activism and advocacy to the song, because he wanted to make sure, and the artist wanted to make sure that whoever signed up for the petition, whoever was buying the song, that that was going into a really good organization. And the other thing is that we also, Friends of the Earth has a strong relationship with Paul McCartney. And so we helped bring Paul into the love song, which helped solidify kind of everybody's participation into the song. And our main participation was really, we talk about science, we talk about advocacy, but, at some point we have to talk about the heart. And when I listened to the song for the first time, and when I heard Sean Paul's riff, too much greediness, too much neediness, 6 billion people all want plentiness, that really spoke, because Friends of the Earth United States is part of Friends of the Earth International Network with groups in 74 countries around the world. And what this COP is really about in these discussions are about how we're going to treat the rest of the world in a very just and equitable manner. And so the song, the lyrics, the emotional pull, more than anything else that was a part of the song was why Friends of the Earth United States got involved with the process and the project.
Great. And we know that Paris is not the end, as you just said, Jerry. This needs to go on. I mean, we've had 2 centuries of industrial development based on fossil fuels, and we need to transition to a different world. And it's going to take a long time. It's going to take decades, but we need to get moving, and this is what this meeting is about here in Paris. Great. So we're going to take some questions from the media.
Could I just add,
yes,
if
Jerry?
you would be so kind, There is a website, lovesongtotheearth.org, which has information on how people can actually take an active, proactive role in helping take care of the issues we're discussing here on every level. And whenever the song is streamed, downloaded, or the videos are watched or downloaded, every cent of that goes to Friends of the Earth and the United Nations Foundation. The music distributors all forgave taking any distribution fees. So when you make a purchase or you take 5 minutes and watch this, it does actually make a difference.
Okay, so get downloading. You can ask questions and then you can download, or you can do it the other way around. Okay, so who's going to go first? Don't be shy. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So, okay, if you don't ask a question, I'm going to ask Sean Paul a question. You're from Jamaica?
Yes, sir.
Island in the Caribbean?
Yes.
They're very vulnerable to those hurricanes and those other impacts?
Yeah. And pollution affects us year to year. You know, we have more and more people. It's a small island, and so, you know, it's a lot of burning of rubbish. I saw some things today that encouraged me. You know, a project that's happening in a certain country, and that's something positive that gives me a lift in terms of thinking. I mean, I have asthma, and Jamaica, we produce a lot of great athletes, and we have to run in smog. You know. So it's you know, it's not a problem that was very prevalent back in the day, but it's getting more and more. So
Yeah.
it's a concern of my own.
Yeah, nobody wants to breathe air they can see.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now I think the journalists have probably got a bit of courage up now to ask some questions. Who's going to go first?
The back?
Have you got somebody at the back there? Yeah? Okay. I've never seen such a shy bunch of journalists in my life. Maybe they're not journalists. A bit of a laugh over there, eh? You're all wannabe pop stars, eh?
Yeah, this is Vincent speaking from French media.
Okay.
So, what do you think? How do you think that music can really make a difference in climate change?
Well, as Jerry said, you know, every time you watch the video, money is being put towards, or anytime you listen to the song, money is being put towards a great cause. You know, lifting spirits is something that art does. You know, creation. We have the gift of being able to create things, human beings. I'm talking about. So it gives you a lift of spirit, and you know, we created this song just to help lift spirits and for a great cause. You know, I'm a celebrity in certain parts, and most of the people in the song are huge celebrities. So it gives a great, a more pull to the song, which we hope raises the revenues and helps out by giving the money to, as you said, what was the two UN and
Friends of the Earth.
Friends of the Earth, right? So, I think that's a good way of using the celebrity and using our abilities to redirect some of the energy. You know, I was driven here in a electric car, and I was inquiring a lot about the car, how it plugged, you know, how much it takes to take care of it. And how much it costed, and it was just crazy to me that you know, people go and shop in stores, and in one day, and they could actually buy that car, which would help reduce a lot of carbon emissions. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just getting the awareness out there. Me being here, seeing that car, being driven in the car, asking the questions. Going back home to Jamaica to try to inquire how I can get cars like that there. I've seen a similar car in England where you plug in, and you know, so I you know, just being here to me is great for fresh ideas. So I think I can bring back to my country, and I'm sure everybody else here are getting better ideas, and that's what the COP's for. So
yeah, that's right.
Music just involved. That's it.
I would just add one thing. You know, the advocacy that Friends of the Earth United States is doing is that we're using all of the science and everything about the carbon budget the resources are going to Friends of Earth U.S.'s campaign to keep fossil fuels in the ground. And so we are challenging across the United States all public leases that the U.S. government holds. And so that is the contribution that when you're buying the song, that's what Friends of Earth United States is doing, because we feel like the United States has to do its fair share when it comes to reducing climate change and climate emissions.
And someone like Sean Paul and Paul McCartney and all the others are role models to millions of people around the world. So there's another influence there as well. Yeah. The lady on the front row. Okay, we can't hear that. So it's Cape Town Television, South Africa. Yeah, there we go.
Satellite. We all at the moment have been subjected to all the logic and the reason behind why we should change what we're doing to the planet. But it's a well-known fact that logic only takes you a certain amount of the way. But if you want people to move, you've got to attach emotion. And that, in my opinion, always means add music to it. So what you're doing here is really good. But my question is, would you be prepared to do much more of it? Because this is the most serious thing we've ever faced as a species. And we would like to have more music, especially from that department, so that we can attach people to not only to draw attention to it, because of course the stars do draw attention, but also to try and involve emotion being attached to the sheer logic of what we've got to do now.
Sure. I think that, this song is a pretty emotion-provoking piece, and so things like that don't always have to be, an emotion of sadness, too. It could be an emotion of joy or euphoria that you feel on Earth. So I think that my music in general, I do that in terms of being, trying to feel together, and so I could continue to do so for sure. But I mean, I think, as I said, being here, being able to know that I can take some information back home, that means a lot more to me than doing the song, actually.
I can tell you one of probably the most gratifying aspects of this whole project has been the response from all around the world. I mean, when we first released it, we were #1 in Paraguay for weeks.
Crikey.
What is it with that? And then we started getting people sending in covers. So people all over the world are doing their recordings in their apartments and their garages and their homes, and they're sending it in. And then the guy does a piano transition and beautiful things like that. And children's choirs performing it in schools in a pageant with moving things that they've created. I mean, to me, that's when you really start to touch hearts and minds, and I think that's the power of music, and it's the power of the films that Louie spent his life doing, the photography of nature, and what we've been blessed with. And I think all those things accomplish aspects that, as it's been pointed out, science doesn't always reach those parts of us quite as well. It informs us of what we need to do on a rational basis, but we're not always terribly rational in our decision and action. So hopefully projects like this help stir the human spirit and get us along the path that we should be on.
Right, we've just got 8 more minutes, so not very long. Oh, do you want to just say something?
Yeah, just,
somebody else
at the 2 nights ago at the Vatican, there were probably 10,000 people in the square. It was streamed live as well. And I walked around, and there were so many young kids doing what I'm doing right now. Is like, with their iPhone, they're videotaping these images of nature bouncing off of the basilica. And that is going to be shared. And so the viral aspect of art, of music, of beauty, of nature, of great cinematography, besides mine, we have Howard Hall's the best underwater cinematographer in the world. All of that combined is energy. And that just goes out. And if people... I think, beauty and seduction is nature's tool for survival because we protect what we love. That's why babies are cute, puppies are cute, kittens are cute. If they weren't cute, you'd throw them out the window, right? So we're hardwired to do that. That's nature's operating instructions. And art opens your heart and enables that to occur.
Right, we'll take a question from the back over here.
I'm from Panos Caribbean. I really want to commend you on this initiative. I think it's well needed. And I wanted to ask Sean, you may know that Jamaica has experienced one of the worst droughts in our history.
Sure.
How were you impacted? What are you putting in place at home personally to deal with some of the impacts of climate change, like the hurricanes that we experience and so on? And finally, we would really love you to support the 1.5 challenge and cause that the small islands are asking for here.
Okay, I'm not sure about the challenge, but I'll check into it. Good to hear and see you. What I'm doing is basically, right now trying to become more and more green as I go along. The word green. Basically, I'm building now, so I'm putting up, trying to use solar as much as possible and learning about that. People have stirred me away from wind type of energy and that kind of stuff, and I'm trying to find out more and more about it. I think that the less that I can put out in terms of my garbage and my emissions in general is a better thing, and that's the only thing that I really know. I mean, every day though I'm using, things that have affected the environment just by being produced. I'm using plastics every day. I'm using, gas. So me trying to use less and less of those things helps. As for the drought in Jamaica and the farms that burnt, I mean, I wish we could get an irrigation thing going on, especially for those, there's some coffee farms and farms in Clarendon that were heavily affected by our drought last year, summer 2014, and this year too. Not so much, I don't think, as much this year. But last year was terrible, and I saw some information on irrigation hoses and that kind of thing that certain people are using, and I think that could probably be a good idea. So, as I said before, I'm here to get ideas and see how I can take this back to Jamaica and help with, solar, water cleaning, and just general cleaning of our whole space. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this chap here with his hand up.
Thank you. Tom D'Alessio from Next City. Next year, the United Nations is going to hold a once every 20-year program called Habitat 3, and we're going to talk about and hopefully develop a new urban agenda. Considering but the fact that in 2050, 4 out of 5 people will live in cities and villages, how does your music and this art form address urbanization, and how can we make urbanization more sustainable and resilient?
Well, I mean, my music is more urban music. This is like more of a pop oriented song. So, how do I affect urban? Sorry, the question again.
I think what he's asking basically is, how can your music influence better cities, cooler cities,
Hey, Nick.
more livable cities, places that would be good to hang out in?
Well, being influential can help, and the lifestyle that I live can help. I mean, I think that I probably lead better by example than by, anything else. Yeah. So
I'd like to add that video streaming, the internet, the fact that video and music can reach out to urban kids, this is a bridge technology. I mean, we shouldn't be looking at these iPhones as a problem where in reality people are becoming more disconnected. Young people are watching it all the time. In urban cities, if you can experience, the beauty of nature and the beauty of art, of music and video combined, that'll open up your heart. That's the way to get that energy into a city environment. The videos that I've done have gone viral. One kid in Istanbul ripped it out of my TED Talk, and it got 35 million views. And rather than bust him, we said, let's hire that kid. And when I finally found him, I said, what's the secret sauce? What did you do to make it go viral? He said that young kids today living in cities are disconnected from nature, and they're hungry for it.
Mm.
Yeah, good point. Right, now, we'll take a last question, but it has to be a journalist, not somebody from an organization. This is a press conference. So are you a real journalist, madam? You're fibbing, aren't you? Oh, no, you are. You've got an orange badge. So fire away.
And I'm a Jamaican journalist.
Correct.
So it's really nice to be here and to see you. I just wanted to ask, do you have a message for our political leaders in Jamaica and in the wider Caribbean?
I was just very disturbed last year about our Riverton city being burnt. I don't know if you were aware, but that problem needs to stop. Our rubbish burns every year, and I think that's helping to cause our drought, or it's just a lot of carbon in our air. I don't like it. As I was saying before, I'm thinking about our athletes. I'm thinking about myself, who's an entertainer. I need my lungs to sing, and I have asthma. So that just is a big problem to me, and it's something I wanted to speak out on if I got the chance. So, yeah.
Right. Okay, we're going to have to wrap it up there. We've got this show tonight called Momentum for Change, all these awards. Sean Paul's going to be there. These gentlemen are going to be there. A lot of great winners from around the world are going to be there, and we're really looking forward to it. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.